that's got to be the energy that they go in with, just because it's been a difficult first map to contend with. Ultimately, Genk, they're an unknown quantity, which is the sort of difficult thing, is that you really don't know who to expect, what to expect, which player to look out for. Maybe you can do some research, but it's going to be limited because there's not an awful lot there. And then, they also have been playing off against lesser opponents. So maybe you do think that it shouldn't be too bad. Let's just work on our own game, play our standard stuff. We are back into that second map, though, or I should say, firstly into the second map, but back into the action. That's what I was getting at. Of course, it's going to be Endpoint starting off on that T side.
Okay, off we go. Mid aggression on the cards. And Heavy God already hits the deck, so it's already tricky. I mean, Endpoint are kind of forced into this A here, aren't they? They can't really do anything else. They can't turn back, and if Genk get in behind, they get so quickly flank when this goes to an afterplant.
Refuser's looking for it. He's actually kind of gone the wrong way, I believe, so they do his digging and got to continue on behind. But like you say, they've got a pretty strong flank on the way. Bomb going to get planted, nice and easy. It's all about the timings from here on out. Resist and then Refuser. Maybe they go one, then one. Maybe they go together. It's a tough call. It is a very, very tough call. Time ticking down. Krepow going to get that flash in to activate the attack here. Flank looks good. Resist finds Surreal. Couple more to get, though, if they are to work their way through. However, there's someone on the bomb. He goes down instantly. It's just going to be Ryu left against them all. Doesn't have his hands on that kit. And unfortunately, the smoke, they thought it was solid. Nertz is the one that's out towards Ivy and just not contended for, I think.
Yeah. I don't think it was a horrible retake from Genk. Maybe. I don't think the crane smoke really helps them, because it kind of gives Endpoint more space to fight down into the ramp. So maybe smoking Ivy's probably the play, and then just dueling sandbags. So, yeah, maybe a tiny error, but, that's a pistol round for you. It's always going to be hectic. It's always going to be crazy. And thankfully, for Endpoint's sake, they keep winning them. They've won all 3 pistols so far. That's not the issue. That's for sure. And, yeah, look at this from Genk. Absolutely nothing invested. They clearly are thinking about rifles in the following.
Either way, Surreal going to get spammed down by the USP. He's absolutely mowed down, he is. He's going to be down to MHL to maybe hold the line. They do lose a couple. And as we say in those rounds, any damage is good damage with the USPs. And they both go on to the Orpus, so he might decide to go for a glass cannon, where previously he didn't have the cash for that.
Let's have a look.
No. Unfortunately not.
Not going to be.
So, more nades. So, at least there's that.
Yeah, we've seen it a lot this week anyway, haven't we? Where, I mean, frankly, on both sides of Vertigo, having your AWP on a rifle is not really a big deal. It's not a big loss, and even in some senses can give you more flexibility if you know what you're doing. Early smoke. I call that the big smoke. Lands on the bottom of yellow. MHL's right-hand side, and allows Krepo to be a bit aggressive peeking out. Takes a few bullets for his trouble. And look at this, mid-walk from Endpoint. They're trying to take some space.
Lovely stuff.
I'm a bit confused where all of Endpoint's nades have gone, Did they use a lot ramp? I guess they must have done an Ivy smoke. They must have used a lot of ramp early, because they haven't got that much left. One smoke? At least MHL's got a kill. That's going to help.
Yep, definitely. And, they're maybe going to look to work through this smoke at this point. All the same. Slow but sure resist. On the edge of the sandbags. Ascan covering him from top. He maybe goes a little bit early, and they decide to go dry. I think they had no option to go dry at the end of the day. It's going to be another kill that comes in. 35 seconds. They could even back off towards B. I think with Nertz, that's what they're going to do. He's lurking out here.
One player faking A. It's kind of pulling Refuser as well. So this is perfect. Yeah. Look at Genk. They're completely outplayed macro-wise right now, and they should honestly save as soon as they get confirmation that it is indeed B. Max is going to continue on the lurk. Round is over. We're just talking about keeping guns out of the hands now.
Yep. Oh, awkward fights. Does get one. And that's ultimately what he was after, as you said, just keeping guns away. And going below 3 generally means that they probably won't buy around what they've got left, so... Looks good from here if they get any more, which I don't think they will, actually, but if they get any more... definitely not going to be a buy.
Yeah, it should be an eco. Can do it, you know, buy a few bit of pistol armor maybe in the other players, so... Not a horrific investment. But yeah. Decent stuff from Endpoint. Bit of A pressure, walk A off as soon as that A pressure, walk mid, sorry, as soon as that A pressure's coming out. They actually were going back up A into 3 players, you know, so in that sense, it could have been a little bit scary, but MHO just removes a scalp, and from there, it's like dominoes, isn't it, for Genk, because they feel like they have to push to even it up or lose another, and yeah, from then Endpoint can just play with their food. They got the whole map under their control.
Ryu looking to open. Very close to the head of Nerds there, but doesn't quite get it. Either way. Rep out. And the gang, hoping that they can find a gun or two in the early stages. Endpoint really playing it slowly, making sure that they don't drop anyone in a silly fashion. This is their map. They should be winning it pretty cleanly, and they have to start as they mean to go on. Ascan does get one. As I said, moving away from those rifles is always good. Aid and a molly to push Ryu off the angle. It looks like they're going to decide to hit B. There is this deadly M4 here if they're not careful, but I'm sure they will be careful.
Oh, you really needed that kill. That was the only route back into this round, I think. Crepo is coming through the smoke, but I don't think he's going to be getting good fights anymore. Does actually take down Surreal. Nerf and Max need to work together to clean this up, and indeed they do. And yeah, rest that M4 in play. I think he's going to sit by the sandbag because he shouldn't be moving whatsoever. And that's going to be Endpoint up to 4. Loving these mid walks, and we'll see in the following gun round if Genk maybe pull something out to prevent that being a possibility.
Yep, looks like that's going to be the case for them then. The bomb to go off here. Endpoint looking good in the early stages. Genk, you can see some of these issues that, you know, we thought would come out on a map that they do not often play already in play. So it has been kind of a difficult start for them, but expecting the buy in the next round and expecting a bit of a change-up, maybe a timeout as well to roll.
Okay, let's see what you got, Genk. I mean, it has been a while since I've cast them. I honestly can't remember what maps they were playing. I think I remember a nuke game, but in terms of Vertigo, it's a little bit unknown what they're going to be bringing out. As Gan Orp in play, we'll see where he's going for. I assume he's going to play mid, honestly. There's been 2 mid walks. And that'd be the easiest way to block it, and indeed he is, so no surprises there. But Endpoint are changing the game. Heavy B default. Look at all these numbers.
Yep. Deadly, scary, difficult. All those worrying words. Nerds yesterday, even though they didn't quite win it out, he was out here running rampant from this angle. He loves it.
I think I'd like him to have an AK, honestly.
Yeah.
Just have that one-tap potential. It's kind of... The difference between the AK and the M4 isn't so... If you're in the pack, if you're in an execute, sure, you can still get the trades just fine with that that M4. But when you're playing... I mean, Dirty's playing a lot of headshot angles. He's trying to take scalps off from behind default, so... It's just a small thing, but they could have juggled it around.
Well, we'll see. Maybe we'll get proven right on it, maybe not. Ascan going to get aggressive. He finds a nice shot onto Heavy God. That's in the middle of the round, the middle of the map as well. He's generally the lurker. It doesn't take too much prep time. You know, we figured that one out in about 10 rounds or so, so they will maybe have a bit of an idea of where the bomb's going to end up. Grepow above this smoke. Look at him. They are. He does need to be careful there. Big nade. Oh, lands onto Max, takes him down to 52. That's only a couple bullets now really required from the automatic weaponry. Maybe another nade to find him. Krepower, I think, has gone and retrieved that.
It's really important here the Genk remember the game plan. They're playing retake. They don't need to get super aggressive trying to fight this. They do put one molly down onto default. If they can get the second molly down before the plant can come in, that'd be pretty massive. So he should kill the plant. Oof.
Needed one of those bullets to land, didn't he? Crepau going to get taken down as well from MHL. A crack in the smoke, maybe. Something along those lines, not quite sure. The retake then in full swing. Ascan looking good on the AWP once again. In for 2. Max finds the head of 1. Gets flashed just for that split second. That's all they needed, though. A tag landing onto Surreal. Going to try and get on the bomb. It's a bit of a mess over here. Ascan can't find his mark. And now what? Fuser really doesn't have a lot of time. They need to get someone on the bomb. Someone getting the kill, and it's Ascan. There's going to be plenty of time here with the kit, thank goodness. And you can see elated at his 4K, and so he should be.
Yeah, I mean, the retake looked really good for Genk. That was perfect. I mean, they used any of the, I mean, it might sound disparaging, but that's exactly what any top 30 team would do, is use the nades like that. So in terms of where they are in the world, that's a pretty big compliment. Perfect nades, good utility. To say, it was a little bit misfortunate that they couldn't quite spam down Surreal. I'm guessing the rotator couldn't quite get that molly down in time. If they could chain those mollies back to back, those smokes would have faded for the plant. And that would really have been a catastrophe. Ascan, Paul given an opportunity. I guess we'll let him off, given how many shots he hit in the previous. And look at this from Endpoint. We saw it yesterday. B bomb site was their only easy avenue. And MHL, wow, he seems to keep finding these entries through these smokes. He must know his angles.
Flash rolls round.
Just trying to bait a response, aren't they? No intent here to execute. We still got Heavy Gods all the way back in mid. We still got MHL coming back from A, so no intent to move. This is incredibly aggressive.
Max spotted, tagged, not finished. 2 HP the difference. Jesus. That is a big tag from Ascan here. He's got a lot of heavy lifting to do if they are to be winning this round.
They've got mollies. They've got mollies. They can clear him.
Also, mollies from the CT side going to start to push away. Are they looking to go B? 30 seconds? This is risky.
It's getting a bit scary, isn't it? They also need to group. I mean, Heavy God's still mid. Max is working A on his own. They need to just get on the same page here. Max goes down, and they're only committing 3 players into 2 here on B. This is not super high percentage.
20%. Sorry. 20 seconds as well. Refuse are going to find Heavy God. Ryu's got a nice little off angle. Even if he just found one there, it would have been enough of a spanner in the works. Nert's going to be the only one left then. There's just no time. Don't give him the space with the time. Refuse is going to peek into him. Does go down maybe a little bit needlessly, I suppose, just confirming the fact or getting greedy for kill. That does actually cost them money-wise, I will say, but they still get the round. Second one on the board.
That was a man up for Endpoint. A very clean man up as well. It reminds me of remember the round on Nuke where they went into control and they put down all those nades and nobody could ever get on the same page. It's kind of like, I don't think this one was as egregious, but it's you need 20 more seconds, I think, to pull it off because they're doing all this pressure across the map. You're trying to be really smart, and you just don't really have the time. I mean, you need time for the mid player to walk. You need time for Max to really get up A and call the numbers. And as I mentioned, they just went straight into 2 players of only 3, and that is not a great sort of, that's not brilliant odds for the T side. And you have no idea where their CTs are, so yeah. I would have thought very simple Counter-Strike would be enough for Endpoint to win this game, but they are insisting a little bit on trying to keep things complicated.
Double nade going down from Genk. Not going to find anyone. Nertz is, of course, here chilling. They've put him on Hero AK because he can afford it. Oh, and there's the boost up. There he is. Nertz from yesterday, rearing his head up with a big kill. Yeah, really, really solid stuff.
Has Ryu been spotted? He's not really looking directly right now. Gets the first, makes it 2. It's a player behind the generator. This is really awkward now that MHL's there. Prepo needs to help out. Does get the frag. Well, I guess it's a decent recovery into a 2-on-2. But can Nertz really save them here? They need a round. They need to
Heavy
hold
God.
something back. Oh! Big moment, yeah. 2-on-1 now.
Yep, couldn't miss that shot, and he doesn't. The lurker out towards mid. You always got to consider Heavy God. He's never with the pack. Especially on a map that they're confident on. Now going to be Ascan. He's only got himself an AWP to work with. Not really ideal. Nerds up close as well on the edge of this smoke. Ascan seems to have an inkling. A few too many targets to check. Tries to land the no-scope. Going to move on to the AK. He gets it as he's falling. You've got to be kidding me.
Has a smoke,
Surely
you
Heavy
know.
God on the Deagle, though. It's got to be enough. A Molotov. Smoke the bomb. Go for the defuse. Some point soon. He really is. He's panicking. Is what he's doing. To find Heavy God, is there enough time for the defuse? I don't think so. That's hit the 3-second mark already. It's going to be awfully close. Oh,
yeah,
that is as close as it comes. That's unfortunate. Definitely under a second, it felt like.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, Endpoint steal one away.
They needed that, and it's really completely screwed the Genk economy. Credit to Nerds, big entry frag. It felt like it was going to get recovered for a second, but they're just not aware of Heavy God, and I do very much agree with you. I mean, you'd struggle to name rounds where Heavy God wasn't lurking mid-late, to be honest. So, caught unawares, slight lapse in concentration, and it's hugely punishing. Of course, we've seen the Endpoint at the other side of a lot of these anti-eco enforced by losses, and finally a bit of karma as Endpoint collect one for themselves. It's not just winning the round, it's not just breaking their money, it's you've also bolstered your money because you were saving. So all across the board, it's just a massive victory.
So the Deagles, therefore, of Genk going to have to try and wrestle something back. They've gone for more of a B-sided play, and unfortunately it will end up being an A1. And my guy Krepow with his nade, hoping to do some damage and maybe, ooh, get some kills! Oh my god, are you kidding? We are robbed of it. Can the USB find it, though? Look at how much damage he's done. Oh my goodness.
Max is in
trouble,
isn't he?
Crazy aggressive. Yeah, Max is really in trouble being the bomb carrier. In goes Krepow, drops him. Lovely stuff. 3v3.
Oh.
Surreal now picks up the bomb. Deagles don't even need to land a headshot. They're just waiting now for the utility to come back through from the T side, but there's not a lot of it. Surreal's got a Molotov, and it needs to ring true. Will that make it? It does make it to resist, forces him to fight. Actually forces him to escape, apparently, and somehow he's able to pull that off. No one going crazy. I don't know how low Surreal is. They don't have that information available to them. One Deagle shot, all that's needed. Not going to happen, though. MHL's got his back. Oof, even for just scary, anti-Deagles, that was very, very hectic.
That was basically zero investment as well. There's a few pistols, but apart from that, not much. Well, it wasn't bad. It was a decent result. Genk back on the rifles. Maybe they can right the wrongs of losing up against that Hero AK a couple ago. Ascan back on that AWP. He's been a massive weapon for them. Had a huge round earlier on to convert in the clutch, and all eyes on him, I think, to see where he's playing. Number 4, he's starting off towards mid, and for Endpoint, it's a heavy AD fault. Look at this, 3 players, but they're going to sit behind this ramp smoke. They don't want to get aggressive just yet.
Nice find from Mighty Max coming in. Not good for Genk. Going down by a man once again. Nert's going to find Refuser. Trade has to be here. And Nertz is able to make it away scot-free. Wow. Really solid stuff again as the lone B player.
It's becoming a spot, isn't it? He looks so confident. Of course, we saw it yesterday. Honestly, Nertz was basically the only thing working. He was keeping them in this T side. And it seems to be a similar crawl today. 5 on 3. It wouldn't be... But Endpoint's already lost one of these, so they do need to be careful. Stay on the same page. Surreal spots Krepow. MHL. What? That looked robotic, honestly. That was crazy.
A lot of low HP bars. They do need to watch themselves on this. MHL, though, is just on one at the moment. Absolute ring around from him. 13-6. And that money rolling in on the AWP. 7th round for Endpoint. Looking very good. And this is a lot more of what we expected, I think.
I already get the sense this needs to be one of those series from Endpoint. You know, we talk a lot about how good teams need to be able to win when they're playing at, 60, 70%. I feel like it's that sort of series for Endpoint where even here on Vertigo, it's not been brilliant. It's been some really distressing rounds in the mix. But they just need to find a way to win and just survive and make it further on in this tournament. We know their ceiling is a decent amount higher than they've been able to show thus far. And yeah, they need to keep pushing forward and keep playing games and getting back into shape. They need to play themselves into some sort of form because they do look a little bit rusty coming off the player break to me.
Timeout being used here by Genk, the first one of the game, I do believe. And rightly so, it's starting to get away from them here in this first half. Maybe we would have called one a little bit earlier than this, to be honest with you. But all the same, perhaps deciding where to go with this. They're going to go somewhere down the middle, which does make the most sense. And then it's a hefty run back needed to get to 5 or 6, that sort of satisfactory mark on any side of any map. It is starting to get away from them, and it looks like they will be conceding an 8th.
They're not saving much, are they? Because they've had max loss bonus for a few rounds, and it's not like we've had 2 saves into a bye. They're just getting kind of wiped out.
The one thing that really sticks out like a sore thumb, I don't think Babos were doing a lot of it either. The lesser known, less top level official experience. They don't save very much. The big telltale thing that it's like you just got to go, well, damn, died. Just save. Oh, no. Oh, resist. That is awkward. 1 and 8. Not the best look. Maybe Askan should have been up there. He's been looking pretty hot on whatever kind of weapon. And now, speaking of saves, you probably pull one out here, don't you? Just to save that cheaper head armor for the next round. The element of futility I always like to talk about.
Feels like Endpoint makes a lot more sense when Nerds and MHL are playing this well, doesn't it? you kind of see how the formula is meant to be concocted. Nice to see MHL having a good game. It wasn't like he was terrible yesterday. It was just more like we know he's got so much skill and potential. We'd like to see it a little bit more. Fuser finds 1, recovers an AK. It's a pretty good result, all things considered. So yeah, decent damage from Genk, and they should have a very good buy in the following with these save rifles going forwards.
Alrighty then, buy to come through. This is what the timeout, most of it will have been used for. We've got everyone, as Barloff would say, all the trimmings here. Very tasty CT sandwich. An AK in there as well, just to make it a little more interesting. And everyone's got everything that they need, nades and weaponry-wise. What's the move? It's going to be an aggressive B move. Smoke goes down. This is a great read from them, in fact, because they are keeping Endpoint in their early round at bay. So Endpoint really don't have a lot of control of anything right now.
Been caught in 2 minds. I mean, they mollied the stairs, but they haven't committed just yet. Now he comes, and Max swings in on his own. 1 for 1. Oh, Rio's just out of dodge. Uses the smoke to his side. Nerds wants the frag, and indeed he gets it. Great game sense. What does he do next? I think Nerds should just give this up. MHL goes down trying to pressure mid, so very chaotic stuff at the start of this round. Look at Surreal taking space, though. I don't think Crepo's got a single clue. Moving around so much. Kill not quite collected, but that's going to force Crepo back. Really good stuff from Surreal to find the space and isolate off this bomb site.
Yeah, more of a set round, right? The default type thing is to have Heavy God on a lurk, and it seems like Surreal's doing it in this round, so they must have pulled out a clear idea that they've got. Askan, man, he continues to impress. Really good stuff. Nearly gets himself a second, but it does escape him. They still haven't crossed on towards site, though. Resist is the higher level player. Oh, nade, touchdown. Yep, takes out Crepow and maybe even gives away the position of Resist off the back of a bit of blood splash. Doesn't look like it quite yet. Where else could he be, however? Could catch them. Oh, gets the first. Already for the second. Doesn't know where he's at. And Surreal, he started this little move on towards A, and he's going to end it as well. 9th round goes the way of Endpoint.
Okay, nice. A little bit better. The way their T side is working is that the Surreal is the A player and Heavy God's the mid player, so it kind of depends where they lean in terms of who's the lurker. And then Nurses B as well. So that's why you saw it was Surreal that time, of course. It's in a lot of rounds where Heavy God's just been sat in mid very late. And here we go again, another mid walk. They've heard a bit of noise in A, so mid can't be terribly heavily defended, and here they come. Flash comes through, take an AWP off an angle. Clearly no AWP here, but no harm in being cautious.
Few shots ringing out, but nothing really happening in the early stage of this round. About a minute or so is wound down. And for a Vertigo, this is a pretty slow one. I think Endpoint, although they are winning rounds, they've got a lot more respect on this map for their opponents, having just lost the first one. So some great chatter, I would imagine, in between maps. Nertz has been boosted up this time. It seems to be somewhat red. Max is the distraction. Nertz actually not going to give his position away until a little bit later on. When he does, the fuse is already hidden. Nonetheless, Max and Nertz are just being annoying on B. That's their goal. Bomb's nowhere near them. Ascan going to find the head of Mighty Max. Oh, and resist the cheesiest spot on the map. Maybe going to get two? No, Heavy God deals with him. A big frag there from Heavy God to make sure that trade comes in. Will allow them to get control of the A bomb site and get this bomb down now. They'd also drawn attention away from A. MHL... easy pickings, man. That left eye peek for Ascan's never going to happen. You know, any AWP worth his salt will find that frag. And now we got a flank from Nertz. Oh, no. He's got his knife out. Oh, does get a chance at the fight just about, but all the same. 2v2. Two-person
yeah,
save.
they're still slaving. Yeah, he's face palming right now thinking, what am I doing? What was the point in taking the knife out? Irrespective, 10 rounds for Endpoint. They're kind of they're growing into it, aren't they? They started off the half very shaky. They had a few bad rounds. They got fortunate off the back of that hero AK from Nertz. And since then, it's been all Endpoint, so are looking like a much more solid outfit, certainly compared to Nuke, put it that way. And yeah, Genk, this lack of heavy saving is starting to really build up. I guess they're just gonna have to. I mean, they're so far down. I think you just have to buy now. With the saves they've got, Ascan can drop an A1S, but they'll have only body armor, so it's a little bit lacking in some senses. But it's definitely worth buying here. You need to stem the tide. You need to, 5 rounds is best case scenario now, and even that is pretty scary.
Yeah, big nade damage coming in.
I think you need to cancel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Fair enough. I mean, they were just really held off by the nadage, by the Molotov smokes.
It's not a big deal, honestly. I mean, the CTs used more nades to slow them down than they actually invested. And it's not like they've lost ground in mid or A.
Genk is starting to panic in the way that they're playing, I think, to be honest with you. They're very, 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 very reactive. And especially when Nertz continues to just be annoying. He's 12-6. He's not the highest fragger. And it's not crazy, but he is always there. He's a constant threat. And he does really well at just not dying, more so than he does actually getting kills. And even the getting kills part is pretty good.
Ascan, taken off. Flashbang doesn't actually connect and does get a good fight. Surreal down, 4-on-4 now. Actually, really, look how spread out Endpoint are. This is madness. Thank God Heavy God won that duel. The whole round, honestly, was hinging on that fight. If he dies, then suddenly we're 4 players, well, 3 players completely spread out across the map. Crepo's trying to take fights. Nertz is his adversary. My Max is joined, though. MHL finds another, and the numbers are dwindling so fast here. Crepo has to find both of these guys. Ooh, I thought he's actually dead to rights there. Indeed, he is in the end. Makes a good go of it. And just rests left alone. Maybe he can drop Nertz, but surely these players fling over from the window. It's actually not been spotted. Nuts. Call off guard.
Okay.
Well, thank God the trade's there. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, he nearly didn't get nerds, to be fair. But either way, 11 landing. Genk have got plenty of cash to maybe try and go for this, but it's a bit weird. I think you do have to go for it. They're going to take a timeout, probably purely to talk about the money, I would imagine. Yeah, this is difficult at this stage. 11 is a scary one. For a time, 11-4, they were everywhere for some reason. I think when the A1S first got changed and was really strong. But still, 11 is sort of that scoreline where we would say with the very tightest of breaths, you can maybe come back from an 11-4, but once you get past this mark, then the game is just pretty much over in the first half.
I mean, referencing Sonic's law, but also talking about two teams in the same ballpark in terms of, as I say, on the map itself, in terms of their ability. I think Endpoint are just so much more comprehensive on this map. Even winning the half might not have been enough for Genk, and well, they definitely need these following ones. There is an AWP on Azcan. Gonna go through this Ivy smoke. Getting a little bit slow. There's actually a player already in the bottom. MHL, okay, dips out. And Endpoint have 4 here. They clearly have an intent to push in, and leg spotted, punished. Azcan with the opening. They really needed this, and with this advantage now, MHL is still skulking around. The smoke's surely gonna fade soon, and Azcan holds the line. Good stuff so far.
Good damage. MHL left on 15. Azcan left on 15. Lovely stuff. Flash comes around. No one going to act on top of it. Genk really trying to get this round in their favor. A kill and a heavy tag. It's definitely doable. It is definitely doable.
I'm watching Nerds because you just know he's going to spring. I think he's got to fight. He's got to go fight. He's traded. It's not too bad. Honestly, put bluntly, killing Nerds is good enough. If you're killing Nerds, you're having a good day.
Ooh, solid stuff. Relatively good from Resist as well. Staying alive up top here, making sure that they retain that man advantage. MHL still in the action, though. He's been looking so damn good. He's a little bit brought down to 15. He will be finished off from the earlier tagger, but Heavy got in with a decent enough chance. Newest addition. Try and secure the bomb plant, and I think they will allow him to do that.
I wonder if there's a kit down. I mean, that push looked overzealous, didn't it? Going through the generator smoke.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, real chance for Heavy God. Real chance.
Okay, playing off of each other. Oh, catches one of the back, runs out of ammo. Left on 64. They've got a combined HP of 20 now. Can't land the bullets, though. Somehow, Ashkan does his best Neo impression, and they all go around him, painting his silhouette. And Genk get the third because of it. Goodness gracious me.
Still, though, feels like consolation goals, doesn't it? Still feels like too little too late. 4 rounds with pistol, with first gun round. Maybe then we're having a conversation. But, yeah, I mean, certainly to remain in this game, 12 would be way too much. So, more work to be done for Genk. More work to be done, and that one was oh so dicey. Azcan is having a brilliant map. I mean, he keeps popping up in different places. He's found a couple entries now on A. Doing some nice stuff, and yeah, another entry here would do a lot of good to making that four rounds a reality.
Quickly up the ramp, they'll move then a lot faster than they have in previous rounds here on the Endpoint side. No opportunities presenting themselves this time around. There it is. Grepau, he takes a bite. He will meet the hand of Heavy God. Nice opener coming in for Endpoint.
MHL. You see he's juggling the ramp side and the Ivy side. Who's going to win out? Is Azcan. Can he grab the information in time? Ryu's on his lonesome. Refuser is nearby, but they really need the confirmation. They need to use these nades wisely. Up close and personal. Money's raining over. A surreal, massive entry. Ryu hits the deck. Refuser has to get fights in before the smoke blooms, and indeed, the players peak before it does. Might have been a mistake. 2 on 3. Bomb yet to be planted.
Max able to get away and get the bomb planted. It's a Mighty Max, bit of a dynamic duo on this map so far. Max playing confident as well, love that. Flash going to keep them back. AWP for Refuser, goes down pretty quickly. There's no one around to really trade him cleanly either. Max has got a great spot in a situation like this. No nadage in the way, and he is so solidly holding the line. Nert's just going to be annoying, and he's got his back. Beautiful stuff. Ashkan moves on to the AWP. Oh, and the USP to finish it.
And a kit,
Jesus, this guy is turning some heads so far across the course of this series. Nonetheless, 11-4 at the turn of the half. It's not the best. It certainly could have been worse for them, though, you do have to say. All the same, everything looking rosy for Endpoint. We'll catch you after the break. Hello, everybody. Welcome back in. We are here with the second half, of course, between Genk and Endpoint. It's all about Endpoint so far on this one, though. They are looking really, really solid. And, yeah, you'd expect so on Vertigo here. It would have been quite surprising if they ended up dropping this one. We'll get those logos swapped about in just a sec, of course. The Hood never wants to play ball with us, but you know how it goes at this point. Anyway, it is going to be this second half pistol getting underway. And, well, nothing too out of the ordinary. A lot of utility bought up for Genk. Where are they going to use it?
It started heavy B. Maybe they'll think about going back. I mean, Crepo's still lower A, so I think it was kind of spread out, bit of a sort of default sort of thing, and see if there's any aggression. It's not going to come, so they need to make a decision here. Bomb's still been dropped in towards, you know, the maze between B lobby and this side of the lower half of the map, so they're far from committed here. They're making A noise, but I don't think the round's going to end on A. maybe now they've got an entry, but don't overcomplicate this game. Just make a decision. We saw what happens to Endpoint if you throw too many variables in the mix.
Here we go, utility raining in, a couple smokes over the top, Molotov to boot. Need to take out a player if there was one hanging around Dupree. It's not going to be the case, though. MHL, oh my goodness, looking so good. And Surreal, not even activated just yet. He might not even need to be. They are mowing through them. Hot knife through butter type energy. All down to resist. He's only good for the one, so a couple kills, but nothing too substantial.
Okie dokie. 4 out of 4 pistols, by the way. Not too bad. Something's going well for Endpoint. And what's the call, Genk? So we saw them eco in a similar scenario in the first half, but I guess being this far down, they recognised that they had to snap the money almost immediately to have even a shot at this. Full force buy. As can Scout in hand. I assume we take that over towards A. And Endpoint, it's just so important they just make no mistakes here. So important.
Yep, that might be a little bit of a mistake. A 1-for-1 cleanly there. It's also an M4 going to be retrieved by Krepow here, so you have to watch themselves. Spam attempted, but and on the Vertigo of old, it might have done some damage. Certainly not on this version.
There's a little wooden square around there that you can full wall bang, and it basically, you know, takes none of the sting off the bullets. But very, very specific place, and they weren't aiming for that. Here we go then. Readjustment into B. Surreal smoke down at absolutely the perfect time. They might commit through this, and indeed they are. Rio's through. Labour spray. Trade is there. Max thankfully is on the site, and it looks like Nurse is close behind, so they should have the numbers to deal with this. There's no head armor as well, which is a pretty big deal, given the weaponry left in play. 2 headshots found, 13 rounds for Endpoint, and given that was the force buy, this is, I mean, what do you do if you're Genk? Are you really going to save and give them 14-4 lead? Maybe you force again. It's, there's no winning here.
Mm-hmm. Very, very tough spot to be in. They are ultimately just going to look to play out the rounds. You know, this is something that we bring up sometimes, isn't it? To be fair, Alan, when you're a team like Genk, you're up against an Endpoint, right, who have had some very high-level players, some very high-level experience in Pro League, RMRs, the like. And you kind of just take those T-rifle rounds and you play them as best you can, then you go to learn from them, right? It sounds kind of patronizing. It is a little bit patronizing, but you do also have to be somewhat of a realist. I mean, we've just seen Nertz get an ace on his trusty MP7 while I'm chatting away, making it look like he does it every single Wednesday.
He's going to keep it as well, just to spite you. They should actually drop MHL and North, I think, here, but why not? They're going to plow on. Okay, then, yeah, as you mentioned, I can't see a route back into this map. It's so far down for Genk, but yes, more competitive experience, run your gun rounds. It's also important not just to, you know, go for something absolutely crazy here, or at least run something in the playbook so you can have the opportunity to learn from it. Nertz, top spawn, crosses down. Is he going to go through? This is a freebie start, actually. He backs off. Refuser, maybe recognizing the B presence, says, I got a gap in mid, pushes through. He's going to get a duel. Indeed, he does. Big entry and a nice read. Nice read off that B information.
Really solid stuff. Heavy God. Nearly spotted out. MHL as well. Got to be careful with how aggressive they're playing here. So just going to look to back off, ultimately, you know, and unfortunately maybe rest a little bit on the fact that they're already a man down. Refuser at middle has been quite annoying. Nertz is going to get an upgrade onto an A1S, though. Refuser. Oh, edging his way forwards. Max has got a hunch. Again, not sticking around for too long. Down to 40 seconds, Alan. They've really not made a lot of noise
since
since finding that first kill.
Endpoint to grab information. They haven't at any point as yet. B-nades coming out from Genk. They're clearly routing back to A, and it looks like, yeah, Heavy God's tucked in the sandbags unchecked. Lets Crepo go for a second, but decides to bank on the kill with 20 seconds. Wow, it's going to be so hard to root Heavy God out and get a plant. Lot to be done in the next 15 seconds.
Solid stuff. Heavy God looking good. Resistant Refuser, however, trading back in. Refuser, especially in towards middle, is now activated, and he just finishes off MHL in the nick of time. A big 4K coming in from Refuser to keep Genk alive on this map.
Yeah. It's a real shame nobody could just stay alive there for Endpoint. Because you can see MHL, he actually went for the kill on the plant. So he might, I mean, so much was happening, he might not even known he was the last one left. So that would have been game over if anybody else had been left alive. So not too bad from Genk. Now they're up against a little bit heavier weaponry. Orp is out on MHL. Got a nice spawn as well by the look of it. So we see our chooses to make use of that one. Gonna go over towards the crane. Early peek. Doesn't see a great deal, and looks like flashes have pushed him off already. You remember yesterday that probably the biggest conversation for Endpoint on Vertigo was kind of Heavy God and MHL now in presumably new positions, at least for Heavy God, and playing together. It didn't look great yesterday, so a bit of my attention is now on this site and how they function together.
Yeah. Still assimilating him into the lineup. I think it's a very foreign kind of world to him ultimately, this team-based stuff. We did mention it yesterday, but he's a bit of an FPLer, I believe, and that's, you know, not dissimilar to where some of the Endpoint players have been discovered, but they're still working on getting him team-based experience at this point and still figuring it out. He might be, you know, first team a little bit too loose on the old, yeah, I'll play there, yeah, sure, why not? Because that's kind of how it goes in the pugs, you know, if you get forced out, especially by a higher level pro, you're going to let it happen, aren't you? So, a lot of figuring to go. MHL is second one of the round, though. Oh, a great flash to get Crepas deep into the site. Look at that. MHL misses his shot as well, and he gets taken down. This is not too bad from Genk. You have to say, it's not too bad from big man Crepow. Big 3K coming in.
Falling apart a little bit. I still think Endpoint has so much breathing room that it's not going to be a huge problem. Oh, Heavy God winning guys in this fight. I can't believe he got that one. Whew. Okay, well, Heavy God causing Genk to skip a beat in those hearts. That was scary for a few seconds. But they do win the round. Endpoint's money is broken. I think one more going around lost and they should start chaining pauses because you just want to secure this. It's getting pretty late, especially for those. I mean, only for Max and Surreal is it, you know, Europe time. Nurse is 2 hours ahead, remember, than us here in the casting booth. So also keeping these games are pretty short is quite a big incentive. What time is it in Israel? It is 11:30 p.m. And best case scenario for Endpoint, we're still playing a whole entire another map.
Yep. Yep. Late on in the day, definitely does start to become a factor. That's very true. Very, very true. The snake on its way to be the Endpoint snake. Logo looks a little bit like a snake, I suppose. Either way.
I don't think that's the intention.
Ascan. No, it's definitely not the snake. But either way, Ascan's going to stand strong. Does get taken down by the Deagle of Heavy God. Any more for any more? Yep. Okay, it's actually a 2v1. In all of this, I missed a kill somewhere. I thought it was a 2v2. MHL's got his hands onto an AWP as well, and the bomb is out in a weird spot. Crepow's been somewhat seen, figured out. Bomb retrieved, though. Going all
I think everyone's got the same plan here.
Way around. They do. They certainly do. There is a cut-off angle that could come through here. Heavy God might have heard him. Might have been able to confirm it. Not quite sure. MHL, meanwhile, has sort of put the brakes on. So they are going to get a somewhat nasty surprise when this bomb goes down. And I would imagine MHL wants to keep his hands on this AWP.
He's really going to go forwards. Okay, it was not planted for him.
Oh, okay. A little bit of an anticlimactic finish from Krepow in the end, but ultimately taking down Heavy God, and the 1v2 strikes true. 7th round on the board for Genk there. And Endpoint now back in with a buy of their own. Ultimately difficult to know from here.
Yeah, I think if you lose this one, the pauses should start ringing. Even into this one might have been an opportunity. Yeah, I mean, they're still in complete control in this game. They're so far ahead. But it's not going to take that much for... You know, it's only 3 or 4 gun rounds, and suddenly we've got a match on our hands, so can't be throwing them away. Heavy God playing into Ivy. There's a lot of A plays here from Endpoint. Flashbang, they're going through. Heavy God pushes around, and Arrest finds the kill. Why wouldn't MHL go through with him? I'm a bit confused. I'm a little bit confused. Maybe he got Team Flash, maybe not on the same page. I don't know why Heavy God's going on his own. That just kind of seems wasteful.
It is a little bit. MHL on high up on the boost here. Might be able to catch ahead. It's a pretty unorthodox one to go for when you've got the rifles in hand. It often makes its way out, you know, when there's a deagle in there. So, good chance of a catch here. Resist is on his way. Or is he? He should be eventually, right? They're not considering this boost at all. He might actually be able to sneak a few. He's going to take the first one that comes. Oh, that's a little bit lucky, you know, for Genk. Let's see how this goes if they can catch the players coming off the boost. So far, not so good. Surreal gets taken down. It's still Nerds and Max in pretty close vicinity. Max goes down, though. He thought he'd got the drop. Even Nerds to do it all. Needs to turn this 23 into 25, and in quick succession, drops the bomb. 20 seconds. Where's this last guy coming from? He's heard him. And now he's able to just about make it away in the nick of time. 15 seconds. Get the bomb and to plant it, and of course look how open it is. Nerds goes wide though, gives him the fight and catches a bullet in the cranium. They are a little overconfident in some of these peaks, Endpoint.
Yeah, well, Nerds just thought he could win the duel. He could have played the long game. Maybe he's also banking on the idea that Refuser probably would have thought he's playing the long game, and well, doesn't play out, and slowly but surely, Genk are making this a little bit more compelling. Going to be 9 after this one, assuming they don't fall foul to this eco. I don't know. I'd be getting a little bit nervous as well from the Endpoint camp right now.
Yeah, just a little. I don't know. They've got plenty of rounds to play with, like you say. I think there is some overconfidence coming in. But again, they've got to watch themselves, make sure that they don't, you know, mess it up into the third map even.
Has he just fallen off the map?
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Okay, NHL surreal as well. What is happening in this round? I thought we were just about to have a bit of a jovial back and forth about Nerds falling off the map. He has sacrificed himself for the greater good of the pistol round win. And yes, he did. He fell off. Can't see him. It's quite far down. In fact, it's really far
That's
down.
hilarious.
That is so funny. They didn't need him. He sacrificed himself.
I really wonder if... I mean, in no world was it obviously intentional, but...
They're all having a laugh.
If you know, if a player, if you know, like if you're Genk and you see someone kills themselves, you might have a split second where you're looking at the mini map or the kill feed. Nerds, he's feeling it. He got aggressive. He's not really a high percentage one, is it? Because he's kind of, I guess he's got good info, but he's given over an M4 and thereby didn't warrant having that many rifles in play. So a little bit crazy from Nerds. I think he does really want this game just to end.
Yeah,
get it done.
Yeah. Heavy God. Great little angle for him around the smoke. Mighty Max on the distract. Heavy God walking out. Finds one, finds two. Him and Max going to end it here and now. Yes, they do. 16-8 then on the second map. Vertigo rolls by pretty quickly and it goes the way of Endpoint in the end. We will indeed be requiring a third and final for this series, folks. It's going to be Inferno, another solid map coming in for Endpoint. That there Vertigo looked damn good. It looked damn good, and we do question, where was that on Nuke, eh? There was a lot more coordination in there, much more comfort.
Yeah, they look like a different team. It was a little bit rocky at times.